guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to make beats like Che, inspired by his new deluxe album Rest and Bass Encore. So without further ado, let's get straight into the melody section. First, one thing to note, this beat is in 155 BPM, so you're kind of going to want BPMs around that range, 140, 160 for these beats. So first off, I used Serum for every single synth in this beat. I love Serum, it's so versatile, and it just gives a great electronic sound that is kind of an integral component of all of these Che beats. So first up right here, we have this lead from Serum. Sounds like this. And now moving on to the second synth, I have this from Serum. Sounds like this. And what I did for this one, this preset already in and of itself is kind of an interesting preset. But what I did was I changed the point at which in this sample, or in this wave, I guess, that the sound starts to around 70% of the way through. So it just kind of just takes the tail end and it takes off some of the harsh frequencies at the beginning. Like, for example, if I start this from the beginning, you hear what this sounds like. Completely different, right? But now if I start at 70% of the way through this, it sounds very different. So you can just play around with that, I guess, to get different effects. So that was pretty cool. And then next up I have this pattern, which sounds like this. Now this is just purely like a texture, like effect type of thing. It just adds to the crunchy nature of some of his beats, and just adds more noise, I guess, and just kind of fills the space as well. And now next up, I have this synth. This one looks complicated. This probably is the most complicated of the synths. Or some of the ones at the end might be a little more complicated, but it's actually not too crazy. I made a pattern up here and then I copied it down and just pasted it an octave below, and here's what this sounds like. It's just another like spammy, I guess, a video game kind of type of thing. Here's the preset for this looks like. It's just another lead preset, just with a lot of short notes, one after the other, to just create those kind of like, I don't know, just digitized type of sounds. Next up, we have this. And this is just another kind of texture or effect type of sound. And I feel like it sounds like electricity. That's the best way I would describe it. But it just kind of makes some of the downbeats here like hit harder, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Next layer, we have this synth, which sounds like this. Now, I did a little bit more mixing on this one than I did on the other ones. One thing, of course, that I did on all of the synths was I took an EQ and cut out the lows so they wouldn't clash with the 808. But on this one, not only did I add an EQ, I also added some Portal just to kind of get a different sound, add some more ambience, because it's initially a pretty harsh sound, and using Portal is one way you can kind of tame sounds a bit if you just kind of want to change the nature of the sound as well. And then I added a phaser here, and then I added some reverb and some delay to just kind of spice it up a bit, you know. And then next up, I have this synth. This is one of the more complicated ones as well, which sounds like this. I feel like this is a perfect embodiment of those kind of crunchy synths that a lot of these underground producers will use in Che and Osama-san type of beats. In terms of mixing on this, I just have an EQ and then I have a Portal as well. But that's pretty much it. And then here's the final layer of the melody right here. And then again for this one, I put a couple effects. I got my EQ here. Then I put a shaper box. Looks like this. I have a Portal, and then a flanger. Um, and that's kind of it for the melody. Now I'll just play all 8 of these patterns together so you guys can hear what this sounds like. And now moving on to the drums portion of the beat. First up, we have this 808 right here, which sounds like this. And then it just repeats again. It's just a 2-bar pattern, pretty simple. And then once we transition to the verse section here, I change up the 808. Still the same 808, but it's just a different pattern, which sounds like this. This one's a bit more complicated. It's 4 bars long rather than just 2. And one thing, if you guys didn't know, you can make these slide notes like this by just double clicking on the MIDI note and then clicking this little icon, and then you hit accept, and it will create a slide note, which creates a pretty cool effect. You can use this on 808s or really any instrument that you're kind of getting from a one shot. And in terms of mixing on the 808s, as I always do, I turn the velocity all the way up. I turn this gain right here all the way up. And then of course I have a soft clipper on the master to tie it all together. And now we'll move on to the claps. So here's what the clap sounds like. It's just the basic clap pattern. You pretty much get the point. Then I have this open hat, which kind of ties in with the 808, makes it hit harder, something like this. Then we have the hi-hats, and the hi-hats I did something interesting with, but you'll see that in a second. Here's what it sounds like. And I had some fun playing with the velocities on these rolls here, like I had them alternating high versus a lower velocity. But then what I did, obviously you may hear this and it sounds like it's playing 16th notes, but if you look at the MIDI, clearly these are just 8th notes in like the main portions of the hi-hat. These are not 16th notes at all. So what I did actually is I have a delay on the hi-hat here, and I just use this to kind of create 16th notes. It creates a different effect than just playing with the velocities. I thought it sounded pretty cool. Now next up, this is kind of a cool element in the beat. We have this snare roll, which sounds like this. To make these, you're just going to want to use triplets as well as 8th notes. You can use a mix of the two, but definitely stick to triplets if you're kind of just making some of your first snare rolls in this style. And I played with the velocities a little bit down here as well. Now, the last 2 elements of the beat we have here are this little triangle, which sounds like this. It's pretty simple. And then we have this kind of little perk. It's very interesting. I don't even know what this is, but it sounds pretty cool, so I included it. Kind of sounds like, I don't even know, like a glass like jar falling down a well in a way. I don't even know how to describe it, but it's just an interesting element. And then now I'll play all the drums together so you guys can see what this sounds like. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll just show you guys the arrangement right quickly. So here's what the arrangement looks like. We just have an 8-bar intro here, followed by a 16-bar chorus, then it transitions to a verse for 32 bars, and then finally back to the chorus, and then an 8-bar outro. So it's just a pretty simple arrangement, just intro, chorus, verse, chorus, outro. And then one more thing actually I can show you guys is right here in this little, I guess, break before it transitions to the final chorus for the last 8 bars of the verse, where I have this just siren effect and just a little riser, and I put some delay in the siren and automated it, and you guys can just see what this sounds like. So, I mean, yeah, you get the point, but he uses these sirens in a lot of his beats, or his producers do. Um, so I thought it was just kind of a cool element to include at some point in this beat, and I thought this was the perfect place. Yeah, but that's going to be it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. Hope this helps you learn how to make J beats, and have a good day.